Hello and welcome to another Miami Hal Real Estate Show. Hav is ahead of me. Here's a little wave for everybody out in our audience. We've got a great show today, and I just wanted to remind everybody because we're thirsting for the interaction. So if you have a real estate question, no matter whether it's small, large, or somewhere in between, please use that social media area and type it in, and we'll get right to it. Right, Hav?
We hunger for it. That's how it is. We just love it.
We
We need it.
It's just three of us in the room, the two of us,
Right.
and we have our producer
Right.
behind the scenes selecting all the right cameras. And you know what? It's a little lonely. So we need some interaction.
Yeah, we need some interaction beside the people like waving at us from the control room. So yeah.
But as you know, this show is about teaching everybody about real estate, the little tips and tricks that Hav and I use all the time. And it's time for us to get into that again.
I think so. I usually start as, what did you learn this week? I know what we learned this week.
Yes, we can do it together.
We can do it. We learned a lot this week together. But tell me, what did you learn this week? Or what do you want to chat about? How do you want to do it?
Here's how we want to do this.
Okay.
So I asked you before the show.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to really drive this, but the topic
this
of
is
today
going to go right off a cliff.
It could be. But this is about how somebody knows whether or not they found the right agent. Yep. And there's a difference in quality. Look, everybody that's a real estate agent that's worth their weight in anything is out there marketing themselves.
Yep. Yeah.
And I think it's rather difficult as a consumer who's either trying to buy, sell, or rent, to figure out who's good and who's bad. Yeah. And so one of the challenges that I have is in my marketing, how do I make people understand that I'm not just a real estate agent? I do a lot more, and so do you. Mm-hmm. And we have our personalities and we have deep knowledge that we've learned over years. Right. And each one of us can bring something different to a deal.
Correct.
Well,
for sure.
As luck would have it this week,
yes, we did.
We're going to talk about one singular deal that both of us are in.
Exactly. And hopefully it'll go through and we can make it hanging. Work.
So this is what's wonderful about real estate. Hav and I, if you don't remember, we work in the same office. Mm-hmm. And, we really like when we can work with another quality agent. Yeah, and I have that in Hav, and hopefully Hav will tell you he has that.
So far, so good.
So far, so good.
So far, so good.
And I think that whether it be agent to agent or client to agent, even more important, communication is key. And so I'll try to be generic, but I think people will figure out who's who. There are agents out there that can run around and tell people that they're selling, $100 million worth of real estate a year. Mm-hmm. And that's an impressive number. Don't get me wrong.
It's a crazy number. But I just actually showed a property to an agent that does that.
Okay. Yeah. So $100 million plus agent, you'd go, well, that must be an incredible agent. Yeah. And you know what? It doesn't necessarily mean that. Mm-hmm. It means that agent that year might have gotten incredibly lucky and done a $75 million deal. Mm-hmm. And then a bunch of other ones. Even that's impressive. But the key for me and what irks me a lot about our business is that, first of all, most people distrust real estate agents. They just don't believe in us.
By nature, yeah.
And there's a lot of, experiences that people have had in the past that can fuel that concern.
Absolutely.
And I think that this show, the fact that you and I are here, we're on time, we do what we're supposed to do, right there,
más o menos,
takes us from that morass of agents. Yeah, there's I think 36,000 plus Miami-Dade agent.
There's a ton
agents.
Yeah,
too many, right? Too many. Yeah. And so out of that, you're going to believe that a lot of them shouldn't be doing this or are lower than average, right? Yeah. So we like to think, at least I run around telling people, look, 95% of the agents shouldn't be doing any type of real estate. And then there's 5% of us that really want to work with each other and get, clients because we believe and we know that we can serve them properly.
Yeah. We briefly touched upon this a show ago or two. It is so difficult to do this job and actually be a livelihood. Something that you actually, can live off of. And, the average, what's the average? I think it's 12 deals a year on the average real estate agent. And I think the average is like, $35,000 a year. So if you look at it for the amount of hours put in, so it is very, very difficult
yes,
for us as real estate agents to have this as our sole job. And it's something that we do. That's why you see so many agents out there that have 14,000 different jobs. I'm an appraiser, I'm this, I'm that, I'm a bartender.
Yeah,
And you
they're
have all this-
hustling.
Yeah.
They're
It's
hustling.
a side gig.
And I don't necessarily mean this negatively.
No.
They are jack of all trades, master of none.
Yeah.
And so at least my philosophy, and I believe yours, is to be a master of one.
Yeah.
And then if you can do some other things, that's great.
Right.
But I am in this because of the passion I have to help people get to the next phase of their life as it relates to real estate.
Right.
And it shows.
Yeah. I think the one of the conversations that we had too is we're talking about this listing that we put out. All right, so
but now we're getting to the crux.
Now we're going to get into the.
What did you learn from both of us on one?
What
deal,
did we learn? So we've been talking about it for a while that I was going to have a listing come out in Westchester, Miami, and we're going to list it at $399, and it was a 3-2 small house, really cute. And we knew that by doing that, you were pricing the property to drive a conversation, to get multiple offers, because if you try to price it too high, then you're working on a different level. So finally, we put the property on the market. So the story goes this way, and this is God's honest true story. Put it on the market Saturday morning, probably around 8:30.
And this, by the way, last Thursday on the show, you said, I've got this listing coming up. And in the back of my head, I said, you know what, I should really know about this because I have a couple of people that are looking. So Saturday morning.
So Saturday morning, we put it on the market about 8:30, 9 o'clock. By 12 o'clock, I already have 35 inquiries on the property. And we're only showing it one day simply because of this issue. So on that Sunday between 2 and 3:30, we showed it 32 times. Hal was one of the showings. So Hal actually can vouch for the fact that there was cars lined up in line. And we got, out of those, we got 16 offers. So out of the 16 offers, one of the offers was Hal's clients, a very good offer. And here's the difference. When you're working with an agent that knows what the hell they're doing, you get an offer that makes sense. And from when Hal's offer came in, there were no corrections. I didn't have to do anything. It was just basically fill in the blanks. And we looked at other offers, and other offers had drafts on them across it. Other offers had the wrong agent as the listing agent. Other offers had, things that weren't marked in. They didn't have the seller's name in there. They didn't have anything. So all of those details immediately tells me I'm dealing with a sub quality, or somebody that
nicely put,
somebody that is not interested or does not even go through the motions.
Right.
And again, we got 16 offers on it, and I have to tell the story because this is the best story. So one of them is, how cash offers and investors come in.
Oh, sure.
So I get this offer.
We need to sidebar on that real quickly. Okay. So as agents, we go out looking to put our property out for sale, and we're expecting that agents typically will be the ones providing an offer. And there are people that are investors that believe that they know the game, and believe we know what their game is.
Oh yeah, man.
So if something's listed at $400,000, they will put in a very specific percentage lower than that. So their offer is like 328, 947. And it's like, we don't work with other agents. You can take all the commission, and like it is such a sales pitch, and you're selling to somebody that's master salespeople. It never works.
Well,
right?
let me tell you this.
Sorry, back to your story.
So this one I get, and the best part is when somebody sends me something in caps, like, wow, cash offer. And it's like, yeah. And then you get the number. It's like, yeah. And so I replied to the person, well, you're about 100K short. So the guy says,
"Oh, you reply?"
Oh yeah, because I always do. I have to. Okay. It's in me. Okay. So I reply, yeah, you're 100K short. The guy comes back and says, what, for this property you're getting this? And I said, well, out of the 16 offers that I got, yours was the worst. Because he says, well, I'm going to follow up on it in a week. Like our deal is going to go bad. And I'm thinking to myself, dude, don't worry, and don't waste my time. Don't waste your time. You're not getting this deal. Period. You're so far off that it's ridiculous, especially when in our case, and when you're looking at a property that's already commanded 12 offers over asking. And one of the things that we did too, to make sure that the buyers were informed, and you got the same thing, is we showed any deficiencies. We sent the seller's disclosure. And there's the difference. When you have an agent that you're working with and that knows what the hell they're doing, you basically will get all the information out there immediately. Because in a multiple offer deal, you don't want somebody to back out. And one of the offers did back out. One of the offers wasn't comfortable. and it was actually a very, very good offer. It was actually one of your competitors, one of
Okay.
that was competing
Well, I'm
hard
glad
against.
that person
That
backed
person
out.
person was competing hard against you. But at the end of the day, by getting all that information out there, you start to, weed out, or at least, alert any of the folks that are out there that may be, quasi pressured in because of the amount of people that they saw at the open. And I will tell you one thing: following day, I had another 35
That
showing
wanted to go
requests.
see it.
35 showing requests.
Yeah.
And
And
again,
by
I
the way,
didn't.
those are the ones that are late to the game,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You set the standard
Yep.
in the listing.
Yep.
Again, trying to
Yeah.
bring our audience into this. The listing comes out and
Yep.
it says first showings
Yeah.
will be between 2 and 3
Yeah.
originally.
Yeah.
You extended it a
Right,
little bit.
yep.
Between 2 and 3 on Sunday. That's it. Don't ask me for any
Yeah.
other times. And the fact that people are asking you for the following day,
They missed the boat.
they missed the boat and they didn't read.
Right.
It's two things.
Yeah.
One, they might have been late, but then on top of that, they didn't read the basic information that you've provided.
They were actually at Sunday brunch. They had more important things to do than take care of their clients.
Okay.
And that's
Could be.
and that's one of the, and again, we go back to agents, the agents that get it, and
Yeah.
to work with an agent that is, that knows what the hell they're doing. And again, we had good agents show this property, and they put their best foot forward, which is another thing that I requested. I said, listen, I want the best offer that you've got, because I don't want to go back to highest and best,
Right.
and then do a competition where it's not fair to, families. Because at the end of the day, all of the offers were end users, and you don't want to do that to people. At least I don't. I mean,
No,
I know other
understood.
agents do, but I will not do that.
And see, what's really interesting is, again, getting back to the bigger question, which I hope we'll continue to address on the show, is that how do you figure out if you're working with a quality agent who stands out from the
Right.
rest?
Yeah.
And I'm going to pat myself on the back because it illustrates what's
Mhm.
going
Yeah.
on. You look at a listing like yours.
Right.
The listing was listed at a very attractive price. I knew, not even knowing you,
Mhm.
I knew by the price and
Yeah.
where it was and what kind of market we're
Right.
in,
Mhm.
that you were looking to get a line out the front door, and that your seller was being realistic about the price,
Absolutely.
so that they would have choice.
All right. Yep.
Right?
Yep.
You and I didn't
No,
talk
no,
about this
no,
before,
no.
but I could read
Yeah.
that simply by the numbers.
Right.
Okay. So before we even went, I told my client, I said, look, we're going to go to this house. It's something that you want to see. I want to make sure that you know that if we make an offer on this house, it's going to be over ask, because it's going to command it.
Yeah.
That you will not get a chance to negotiate. So put in your highest and
Yeah.
best. This was even before you said something. And if you get to an inspection point and there's something you don't like on it, you're not going to have a chance to negotiate it.
Yeah.
Because let's say you find something and it's relatively minor and you ask them for $1,500 off the price.
Right.
Well, guess what? You're going to get laughed at. Not because your concern isn't valid,
Right. Correct.
but because in the marketplace, they've got, as you
Yeah.
pointed out, 11 other offers. They'll just go to one of those.
By the way,
Right.
you have a backup against you.
Okay. Good to know. Glad I showed up for the show. And
I just wanted to point that out.
And that's the smart thing to do. And I would
It's
have
my job.
expected
Yeah,
that.
that's my job.
But I would have expected that out of you.
Right.
I'll tell you something really interesting.
Okay.
Playing about how you know you have a good agent. When I go look at listings that my client has already identified, there's a list of 7 or 8
Right.
listings. Before we start to schedule, I look at a couple things. I look at how many days the property's been on market. Now,
that's
that's
good.
less important in
Yeah.
today's market because everything's on a very
Right.
short time. But a story can be told just in that
Sure.
number.
Yeah.
I look at how the descriptions are written. And here's one that I think you'll probably identify with. I look at the license number of the listing agent.
And see what how.
And I know, by the way, these are sequential. So if
Yeah.
I've got a relatively small number, that's somebody that's been in the business 20, 30, 40 years.
Yeah.
If you've got a number, that is much more
Has a lot
current,
more digits.
right? Then you're dealing with a new agent. Now that new agent can be very aggressive and good at what they're
Sure.
doing, but they just don't have the breadth of knowledge that we do. Or it could be somebody that you're just not going to have a good time working with because they don't know the business yet. And all that gets done before I go and show a house.
Yeah.
So these are the things that are intangibles. How do I put that on a marketing piece?
No, you can't. And again, that you hit on a note that our clients are relationship clients. You build a relationship, and they're going to either like you, they're not going to like you, and that's one of the realities. But you do something similar that I do is when we look at MLS, you look at how things are written, what's omitted, how thorough the listing is. Because if you see something that's just basically hitting the required, there's like no effort there, man. It's
Right.
like, come on, dude.
Right.
Give me something.
How about photos? This is
Oh, yeah.
a big thing. As you probably are aware, the most important
Yeah.
thing, even though we talk about video these days, still to this
Mhm.
day, the photos are the most important thing that a listing has to immediately
gonna catch your eye.
attract somebody.
Yeah.
And I can't tell you how wonderful, and I'm going to hold it up, how
Yeah.
wonderful these devices are these days.
Mhm.
However,
Make sure that you're not in the mirror.
see how I held it up?
Yeah.
Do you see how I held it up?
Yeah.
This is not the way to take
No.
pictures for
No.
real
No.
estate.
No.
This is,
Yeah.
and there's a big difference.
Yeah.
And a lot of agents take them this way.
Mhm.
And there's a lot of tricks, but wide angle
Yeah.
shots
Right.
are critically important.
Right.
Now, I don't actually take pictures
Right.
with a phone.
No.
Because the quality of the photos
Mhm.
out of here, although very good, still are not as good
No.
as taking them with a traditional SLR camera
Right.
with a very wide lens on it.
Yeah,
It's a big difference.
or professionally shot, which is what we do a lot of.
Yes. No.
So that we pay for photographers, professional photographers to shoot our properties. And they can also, and one of the cool things about the photographers that we use is that they can actually point out some deficiencies because of the picture taken. They can say, hey, listen, you may want to look at this. You may want to look at that. I had one walk in and said, dude, this is a mold pit. He just basically could not take
That's
pictures.
good.
And it's like all of a sudden you
Wow.
realize it because you may not think about it, but this person was sensitive to it and we had to address the issue.
So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about, so out of turn,
Mhm.
you have the listing that we're in contract
Yep.
with. We're going to come back to that. Just talking about photos, looking at your brand new listing. You've
Mhm.
got a great one right on the water.
Yep.
Multi-million-dollar property. Congratulations.
you.
That's great. And
Thank
it'll move very quickly.
Yep.
Looking through the photos with my partner, who's also in real estate,
Right.
and she goes, why are those rugs still in the picture?
Yeah.
Those rugs should have been out. There are little things that we learn over the years as to what's a good picture and what's a good picture. And you talked about omission of pictures.
Right.
There's a lot of reason not to take pictures of certain parts of the house.
Right. Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
But most agents don't
Yep.
get this.
Right.
And so when I am looking over the shoulder of my client who's now seen 6 houses and they
Right.
go, I want to see these 6, I then go back and look at the photos and I go, do you realize why this was taken this way?
Right.
And a lot of times, again, before we go out and put feet on into a car, I can figure out whether or not that's worth seeing.
Yeah.
So there's little things.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of little details that we look at. And again, it's just, I when we shoot our stuff from a professional standpoint, and there's also details that you do leave something in because maybe
Yes.
it's for scale.
Yes.
And sometimes like in one of the pictures we have, and Ashley mentioned this, and she goes, why'd you take a picture of this? And it's a towel basket. And it's really to give it a scale because if not, the bathroom looked too wide and it really didn't give it context.
Yeah.
So because I asked him, hey, shouldn't I take this out? And the guy says, no, leave it in there because we want it for kind of context. So there are photos that are taken that you say, okay, why? Now the best ones that I've seen a ton of them, and you know what? And the stuff still sells. I had a family.
You're going to talk about bad photos, and he's still
listen.
selling?
A family member of mine who was just gotten into the business, and he lists his property in Hialeah, right?
Okay.
And I look at the pictures, and I'm thinking to myself, "Holy shit! How did you even think about?"
You didn't say that word
Yeah,
on our
okay,
family
sorry about our
oriented
family.
show.
And I'm thinking to myself, what were you thinking? He's got pictures of garbage cans,
Oh,
like
yeah.
trash cans
Roll
outside.
those out.
He's like the flashes on the mirror. And I'm thinking to myself, you're never going to sell this, dude. You get out there and clean these up under contract the next day.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself, you know what?
So there's somebody that's new in the business that you are teaching him the right way to do it, and he got lucky.
Yeah.
So hopefully that doesn't taint his
I hope not. I
knowledge base.
hope he doesn't show a recycle bin and a trash bin.
There's so much about photo taking. I know you spend money for your clients to
we
get
do.
professional photos.
Yeah.
And I'm not knocking that at all. Now, I happen to have a little bit of an edge on pretty much everybody in this market because my prior career was award-winning videography and photography.
Right.
So I do, for the most part, take all my own real estate photos. And they
You have the knowledge
rival,
for it.
they rival or they're better than the professionals that you
Right.
and other agents will hire. And one of the advantages that I talk about when I go to a listing appointment is, yes, most agents are going to come in here and tell you they're going to take professional photos, and they will.
Right.
except they call an outside company who's very, very good at what they do.
Yeah.
And they say, I'm coming over Thursday at 1:00. And they say, well, what's the problem with that? I said, there's a lot of problems with that. What happens if Thursday ends up being a very cloudy or
Right.
rainy day?
Yeah.
All the pictures inside have outside light coming in, and that light has a different tonal quality in rain.
We reschedule.
Okay. So those are the things. So I, being the photographer, I can go anytime I want.
Right.
I wait for sunny days, right?
Yeah.
On top of that, I talk to them particularly about people that are in homes. I actually go out and shoot photographs on multiple times of the day.
That's one of the advantages.
Because there's things called the golden hour, right? At sun up and sundown, there's a thing called the golden hour where the sun is very low and it creates wonderful shadows and colors and things.
Yeah.
And if you, again, have any professional show up at a particular time, you don't get that.
Yeah.
And it's so there's
we have
and
any of the stuff that we feel that any kind of sunset with, like this one that we have now that we just listed, the owner has quite a few sunset and sunrise photos that we're going to incorporate. We just are asking for a higher resolution, and then what we do is we'll send it to our photographer. He'll digitally make them a little bit better, and then we can put them on there. But that is an advantage. It's something that is really important.
So let's go back to again, giving us both credit, how two professionals have one house that's listed. I've got the buyer, you've got the seller, and what professional things happened over the last couple of days that made this good for you, and I'll tell you what made it good for me, and now we've made it good for our clients. Right?
I think you and I, at least in my eyes, managed the clients. The clients were, folks that are not professional. It's not like you're dealing with an investor. You're dealing with two families or two groups of individuals. And I think one of the things we did was we managed not only the expectations, but the transaction in a way if there was a delay because folks had questions. Because again, they're not professional. My people had questions that they wanted answered. And it was a matter of, going through that process. And at the same time, I think on keeping you abreast of that information, saying, hey, Hal, you know what, I just need to get over these couple of things, but the deal's fine. And keep assuring the person that it's not like you're shopping the contract. Right. It's not like you're out there just doing it. It was funny. I took it temporarily off the market just so that I would stop getting phone calls.
And by the way, I knew that was the case. So I, in half joking manner, texted you and I said, I see it's pending. I hope it's us, because we didn't have a signed contract.
A signed contract. And again, it wasn't a signed contract because of the transaction wasn't basically discussed. It was just that my folks needed some assurances of certain things, just so they understood it. And they were minor. There were really nothing crazy. But at the end of the day, that's what our job is. Our job is to go through the process and make sure that, the sellers and the buyers, whatever side is comfortable.
So the big issue that we had between buyer and seller had to do with closing date. Yeah. Right.
Correct.
So I have a client, I've already had their place under contract. Right. They are closing on that November 15th originally. Right. That's what's on their contract. And so we're looking to buy something on the same day. Yeah. These are older, two sisters. They're older. They want to stay in the neighborhood. And what do they do with all their stuff, all their furniture? Right. And they can't put it in storage. Right. And they don't know where to be. And they're very uncomfortable with being, quote unquote, homeless. Right. So we made an offer to you. Originally, I wanted to do November 15th, and we had a discussion, and ultimately your sellers weren't comfortable with that date. It was too fast.
Yeah, there was no way they could do it. Yeah.
So what we did is I felt like a very, very professional back and forth, again, managing our clients. Sure. Because listen, everybody that works with me thinks I'm going to perform magic for them, right? And the whole world's going to part the Red Sea, and they're going to get exactly what they want. And believe me, I try to do that. Right. And I'm sure you do too. But there's got to be some flex. Yeah. And rather than get everybody anxious and worried, it's how we talk to people. And look, we're supposed to tell our clients exactly what's going on. Right. And I do on the important facets. Right. But if we're having a little side discussion about how do we minimize friction, my clients aren't hearing that. Yeah. And there's good reason for it. Yeah. And I think that's the professionalism that, again, I can't put that in a marketing piece.
Just it's dialogue. It's talking to the other agent, making sure that you convey your clients' feelings and emotions, because at the end of the day, that's really one of our true values. One of the things that we do best is actually manage that. And again, you can't put that in a material. How are you going to put it on, a document? And that is just good, proper sales technique, because you educate, you make sure that your client feels comfortable with what's going on, but it's dialogue. It's talking to the individuals and talking to all the individuals. Hey, listen, there's been deals that I've done that I don't want to talk to anybody. I mean, literally, it's like, this is better just to just shut up and let this thing flow out. But there's other areas where you really just have to over communicate, even if it's repetitive.
And by the way, you're right. Sometimes we have to over communicate. In this case, I felt restraint on both sides because I knew, again, without even asking, what you were going through in the scenario that you were. Yeah. So I didn't ask you every 2 hours, is it signed? Is it signed? Is it signed? Yeah. I said, my clients are really anxious about this. When can you get it done?
Exactly.
And
if you would have asked every 2 hours, I would have sent you a nasty text.
Oh, I'm sure you would have. I'm sure you would have, but you knew I wasn't going to do it, right?
Of course.
In fact, we had some funny dialogues back and forth between each other.
We knew where both positions were, simply because of the individuals, and I think we did as good a job as you can do managing the emotional aspects of a transaction, without the agents taking a position of a hard ass position. Hey, I want this now. It's like, hey, listen, chill. Yeah. So I think we really managed that, and I think that at the end, both parties are going to be satisfied with the end result.
December 3rd.
December 3rd.
Now,
on or before.
Now, exactly. You'll note that on the critical dates email, I said, on or before that date. Yeah. And my hope, and we will continue to dialogue, these are things that the professional agents will do to make sure our clients are served best, is there is an aspect to get my client's sale done after November 15th costs them a little money. Right. So they're paying their buyer a little something so they can stay a little longer. Right. But we only have till November 30th now. Yeah. And I still have some work to do. And my hope is I can bridge the few days gap between their closing and purchasing.
We will do everything on our side.
And over the next few days, we're going to figure this out.
Hey, when's inspections?
Inspections? Yeah. We're scheduling those. You'll know tomorrow when the inspection is. Your inspections will probably be Saturday.
On Saturday. Yeah. You're going to do inspections on a Saturday?
Hey, you know what?
It's Halloween, for God's sakes. I'm going to be busy.
All right.
Can we do Monday?
Yeah, we can do it.
Thanks. Let's do Monday. Let's not do the weekend. This is how you negotiate. By the way, this is how you negotiate.
Exactly. It is.
No, don't
do that.
Damn, no, ruin my weekend.
So we're doing well with that. Yep. And now let's go back to a couple of small facets of things that you mentioned along the way. You said other offers came in with things filled out either incorrectly or missing. And so this is an interesting topic. When you're interviewing for an agent, either as a listing agent, you're looking for somebody to sell your home, or if you're buying, I think a great question, which I have never been asked, is, can you pull out a boilerplate contract and let's walk through this and explain it to me? Because I can't tell you how bad I feel for both buyers and sellers when I say, hey, here's a document, which I'm happy to go over, this with you in any detail you want. And they just sign an initial. Yeah. And afterwards, I'm like, did they really understand what they just did? Because listen, we are not attorneys. No. But we're using forms that have either passed the Florida Association of Realtors or the Florida Bar, the attorneys of the state. And these are the fair and equitable ways to do boilerplate contracts. Right. And believe me, every single word is painstakingly decided upon. Yeah. Yet we have buyers and sellers that what the heck? Yeah. And then dates go by.
I trust you, Ro.
It's really, really important to educate even before they become clients. And I would love to have somebody call me up and say, listen, I'm thinking about hiring you to be my representation in this deal, but can we sit down either together or over Zoom or whatever? And I want you to tell me how this contract should be.
When I first started, one of the things that I was taught was explain each paragraph in one sentence.
That's great.
And you
I can do it.
And you could basically go down and say, okay, these are the parties. This is what this is with that. And just to get through the thing and then say, do you have any further questions on these contracts? But my biggest frustration is you get these offers in. And again, guys, this is not that difficult to do. I mean, this thing is on Florida Realtors or on dot loop. These are already like pre-printed. All you got to do is fill in the damn blanks, and half the blanks you can just get off the damn tax sheet. So it's just like copy and paste. It's not that complicated. And you get these offers come in and they're not even completed. They're missing like critical dates, like your commitment time, like things that are important. The math is wrong. I had one that said instead of 95%, it was $95. Thinking to myself, man, now I got to go back and correct you.
Yeah.
And again, it just shows you that, and again, not that I have not done it, because I have, when you're trying to put something
People
really
make
good,
mistakes,
and you do it, but when you see it consistently or just a lot of missing stuff, that is really one of the hard parts.
We just had a sign held
We
up.
just had
I don't think that's the right amount of time.
That was a 10-minute. We still got 10 minutes in this
No,
show?
we got like 2, right?
We got 2 minutes, 10 minutes?
Oh, okay.
We're 31. Oh,
You
we're
just
all
held
over.
up a 10-minute sign.
Yeah,
Anyway,
you held up a 10-minute sign.
We see, this is somebody filling in the blanks that just accidentally did it wrong, but it doesn't matter. We love the fact that we have this time with you.
Calling out our
can talk
producer.
about
What's
things.
wrong with from now on? It'll be just delete.
We're not going to go on the air next week.
We're not even going to go. We'll just be talking, and then there won't be anything on the show.
So we will wrap up. We love the fact that we have this platform to answer
It's a lot of fun.
questions.
Yeah.
Please use that platform.
Mhm.
We thirst for your questions.
We do.
But
Just not about the Dolphins.
but we do hope we've educated
Just not
today.
the Dolphins.
Hav and I are here to help you with real estate
Yeah.
dreams. Each of us with our own personalities,
Absolutely.
both of us professional, and both of us fully capable of helping you. So give your phone number out. Let's
305-582-5085 since 1986.
All right. I don't think I've been since
There you go.
1986 with the phone number, but 786-693-2005. Have a great week, and real estate questions, we're here for you anytime.
Have a good weekend.